Say it with me. For we walk by faith, not by sight. Hey guys, John with Cheap Old Cars and Audio. In today's video, we're going to be doing fog lights in both of my 01 bullets. One of the bullets has a 99 to 01 Cobra bumper, and the other has an 0304 Cobra bumper. But they both have 0304 fog lights. I have a problem though. So this is what comes off the car from the factory, this type of connector. And you need this guy to go to the Cobra one. Actually, I can show you here. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this and I'm going to make me bigger. Okay. This is the 0304 Cobra style. This is the 9901. It's loose. It doesn't fit. But, obviously it fits in the 0304 Cobra style bulb. Okay. So just two different connectors. No big deal. My problem is that I don't want to cut wires. I don't want to do this. Now, I don't want to splice into my factory harness. What I want to do is make plug and play harnesses. This is super simple, so we're going to do it, right? So this is the factory type connector. That's obviously not going to work because I need something that I can plug the factory connector into that gets attached to these, and then this plugs into the new fog light bulb. This is really simple. So it took me a little while, but I found out this is an H27 or 880 connector, and this is actually the female, right? It doesn't. I would think, kind of that this is the male because it goes into the hole here, but no, these are the pins, and those accept the pins. So this is the female side, and so then I'm looking for an 880 male pigtail. Okay, so hop over here to Amazon, 880 male pigtail right there. Okay. All right, I can take these pigtails and these pigtails, which I've only got one set for the 0304, so I need one more set of these. And so I'm going to be out $30-40 to do this. I also need another thing for these cars too. I need the, this is a cool thing. So I'll tell you, I need the fog light buttons because bullets have the wiring. It's all there. The connector is behind the dash, and there's a connector with this cool thing I'll show you in a second up under the front of the car, but there's no button. I wish that they would have had the button for the fog lights just tucked in behind the dash, like plugged in to the harness, but just in behind the dash, so that way when you pull that piece out, you can be like, oh hey, there's the button, pop it off, put them through the plastic fascia piece, put backside and then the front, bam, you got your button. That would be really nice, but they didn't do that. This thing's really cool though. Let me make me bigger. Zip. Okay. This is essentially an H27 protector, right? So it's got the little pin, and this plugged into the car somewhere, and then the factory wire plugged in here. And when I pulled this off, I mean, it's never been off in the car's, it's 2001, it's 2020, 24-year history, right? That this has never been off. When I pulled this off, the rubber in there, I'll show you on this one, like the little rubber weather protecting stuff. It's blue on this one, but it's red on the other one. But it's like bright red and clean, and the ends of the connectors are perfectly clean because this kept it great for 24 years. So that's awesome. I'm really happy there was a cover that kept them connected. So what I need to do, and this video is going to take a little bit to make, I need 2 sets of these, and I've got one set of these. I was thinking I had another, so I'm going to look around a little bit more if I have another set of these, because I know I got one with my 0304 Cobra bumper install kit, and then I'm pretty sure I got a set with the 01 Cobra bumper I bought for the green bullet. So I just need to look around a little bit more. It's probably sitting in a box somewhere. Yeah. But I can get these, and then I'm going to also get some solder seal wire connectors. Just a multi-kit of a bunch of stuff. This one's normally, how many pieces are in here? 120 pieces. This guy has 400 pieces for $25. Heck yeah. I haven't needed, there have been times I've needed these and I've just gone other routes. What size do we have in this kit? 16 to 14 gauge. I'm having trouble reading. I'm seeing 21 to 18. Okay, so yeah, that'll be good. We got 12 to 10 gauge, a bunch of the bigger ones, and then we have down to, looks like, I'm going to turn my head sideways. So just a bunch of the 22 to 18 gauges. Okay. Okay, so you can see we're on eBay now, and I'm looking for fog light buttons because, like I said, I need a fog light button. The bullets didn't come with that button. Anyway, so one thing I don't like, this one right here, it has a 94 to 2000. Okay, very good. Hey, they're actually labeling it right. Okay, I was going to complain about people labeling these things wrong. Last time I looked for them, like here's one right here, 94 to 04, and it has this. That's not correct. This is the fog light that they ended in 2000, or at the end of 2000, that is down on the console. We actually need is this guy right here. Man, I don't want to spend this much money. This guy has one for 25, which I will probably snag that one. He had 63 of them. Dadgum, I wish I would have looked earlier. I don't want to spend that much money. Goodness. So, what is this? Defrost traction control fog light switches. If I'm going to spend 40 for one button, I'll probably end up spending 50 and getting these 3 buttons here, so at least I got something for my money. And so I'm about 50 bucks into the wiring, and then this is going to cost me another 75, so I'm at $125 to add fog lights to cars that are sitting out there with fog lights in them. That's a little silly. Okay guys, so we got stuff in from the other day. I've already tested one out on the car, but I'll still show you guys the whole procedure. Just so you can kind of know what we're up to. Straightening out some wires here. Now, I mean, I'm going to cut it all out so you guys won't see it. I shouldn't even say anything about it. I am going to have to step out to the garage and get a tool. Apologize for my kind of messy desk. This desk functions as a filming and any work I need to do on the computer and anything I need to do otherwise. Like, I can push my keyboard back up under my riser here for my screens, and yeah, everything can kind of go out of the way, and I have like this big workspace here that's really great. Okay, so here is the Cobra side of the injector. I was looking for a brand on these. I wanted to know what brand they were. These say made in Taiwan. They don't say anything else. Okay, it's different though, because I just got these from LMR, right? And you can see it's light blue as compared to the older one's darker blue. It's a different brand. This has a brand right here too. It's like ARSH or SK or something. I've been trying to figure it out what brand it is so I can get these things online, so I can make more of these harnesses, because I don't know, I might put it out there that I can make these harnesses. I'm going to show you guys how to make them too. I'm not going to try to keep this like a secretive thing. So there's multiple ways to do this, okay? A really, really correct way to do it would be, I almost kind of want to put you guys up on my face, but I'm not going to. So the wires go into here and they're crimped into these little pins, right? A really good way to do it would be to take this guy apart and then put the wires back in. You know, basically just have just wires into this. Does that make sense? So just one set of wires and not a splice in the wire with these guys. But these are, they're not waterproof, but they're weatherproof connectors, and they have the rubber up inside of them and stuff. So I'm just gonna do it this other way, and it's gonna be perfectly fine. So I got 3 of these out, and I actually need 6. Let me grab some more from the bin over here. There's 2 more. These are heat shrink tubing with a waterproofing seal and solder in them. Now, you don't have to solder your stuff, and honestly, I mean, I don't like it, but you could just do this with wire nuts. It'd be fine. Wire nuts and then wrap it up with electrical tape. This is low voltage stuff. It would be fine, but I like to do it a little bit better than that. And this kit here, I mean, I think I paid 13 bucks for this kit, and I've used about one whole section of these little guys to do this little project. I don't do stuff like this very often, and so this will work just fine. As you can see, the little red bits are rubber, thicker rubber, I guess, and they are softer rubber. But they'll melt down around the wire. And then the center silver piece here is some solder, which is a really soft metal. This is probably mostly tin. I prefer all lead, but it'll melt down around the wire, really give us a good connection. Everything will be just fine. So I'm going to set these over out of the way right now. I'm actually going to step to my garage and get a tool 2 tools. I'll be right back. Now, I know that I don't have to say, I'll be right back, and then come back and say anything. I could just get up, walk away from my desk, cut it out of, and when I edit this footage together. But I like to be real with you guys. Like, I forgot my tools, so I need to go get some tools. If you hear banging and stuff on the desk, I know that's going to be loud. I'm sorry. I used to have a really cool mount for my microphone, but I gave it to a friend, hoping he can start a podcast. He hasn't started it yet. He needs to get on that. So what I'm going to try to do is set stuff down, this hard stuff, set it down my mouse pad over here, which should dampen the thing quite a bit, and my microphone right here you can see the base of. I actually have it setting on a soft rubber piece, so hopefully that will make things a little bit better when I set stuff down. So, multiple ways you can do this. Most people know you can just grab a little bit with your needle nose pliers, you know, just cut a couple little places around and kind of just, oh goodness, that was tough. And pull it off there. That one was more than I expected it to be. Anyway, so I mean, you can do that. You know that. I have these. They were given to me. I really like them. There's a piece missing here that on this little rod that sticks out. That actually limits how much wire you put into it. And I don't have that anymore. It is missing. But I really like them. You just squeeze and it pulls it off. It's great. So I'm actually going to pull a little bit. That was a bit of an aside, guys. So I want to make these shorter is the key thing here. So that's the first thing. I almost got a little bit ahead of myself just talking about, you know, cutting the ends of the wires. But we need to make these shorter because I don't want the harness to be, you know, hard to get this all on camera here, but it doesn't need to be 2 feet long. The factory fog light harness already goes to the fog light. So anything we're adding is just adding extra harness that's going to be hanging down. Maybe I'll zip tie it up. So we want these actually to be kind of short. Now I am going to have a little bit of length to them, but they're going to be fairly short. So let's take the needle nose here, and I'm just going to cut this about right here. Okay, pretty short. And I'm going to do about the same on the other side. Okay. And now, if you're a fan of Futurama, here's where I keep my random lengths of wire. No, I'm joking. That's a reference to the first episode of Futurama. The old professor goes, "There's my intergalactic spaceship," and he pulls open a drawer. He's like, "And here's where I keep random lengths of wire." He was more interested in the wire than the spaceship. Anyway, so now let's pull a little bit off of these guys. Doesn't have to be much. That was the wrong size. Right here. And right here. Alright, so that's what we need there. I'm going to do the same thing with these two. So that wire is actually smaller. Hey dog. What you doing, Pooch? I know you want supper. Mama's not home yet. My dog really, really wants supper. Problem with that is I can't hardly touch her food. I'm allergic to it. There we go. I can if I have to, but my wife should be home very soon. So I will let her do it. Okay. Now we got 2 little sets of wires. There's different ways to do this, but what I'm going to do, we're going to take 2 of these guys. I'm going to kind of twist this up here, and so the wire kind of stays together as I put this heat shrink tubing over it. Now, I don't do this all the time. There's probably ways to do it that are, you know, a little bit quicker and better than what I'm doing. But this way works, and I'm trying to show you guys how to do something that you probably don't know how to do either. So I guess it's either the blind teaching the blind or we're learning together. One of the two. Now, there's not a lot of room inside these things. I could honestly use a bigger one, but I'm using this size right now. So I'm going to kind of put this wire together. One thing I do want to do, though, is I want to line them up. I want to line these 2 up. So this is where the connector piece. This doesn't matter, guys, at all, right? Because it's just power in, power out. Yeah. As long as one side is getting power and the other side is returning that power, making a loop in the electrical current, the Fog light does not care if it's this way or this way, whatever. This is just current in, current out, okay? But just to be a little picky and a little anal, this side right here, I'll show it to you guys with that little triangle bump on top, is where the connector is going to connect. And then this side here, obviously you can see where that connector is. So, not a lot to work with. I'm just going to kind of mash these wires together. And I'm just going to push one at a time on here. Some of the copper got pushed back. Now, I don't know if that's not great. I'm going to spread these open a little bit so I have a little bit more room to work with. Okay. So, as you can see, I have, let me down right there, the open area there is inside the solder. That solder is really soft. So I'm going to take my needle nose and just kind of pinch on it a little bit. Now, I'm going to heat this up in just a minute and put the melt on it, right? But for right now, that's going to hold until I can kind of get this other one put together. Which just gives me a little bit of working room to breathe. So you can't really see what I'm doing with my hands here. I apologize. I have the camera over to the side a little bit. So yeah, I'm just kind of putting these together, spread them out a little bit, kind of put them together, and then I'm squeezing and mashing a little, and then it obviously came right apart. There we go. You can tell when you get it together better. It will mesh together a little better. Squeeze that down. Again, you don't have to do that step to squeezing it. I'm only doing that just because to help hold them together, right? So then we have this, and that looks okay. This is probably going to be loud on camera, and so let me explain to you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to show you making all of these either. I'm going to get them done off camera. We have a heat gun. That my cable's caught. Okay. In just a second, I'm going to turn this heat gun on. I'll get this right here, we can see it. And I'm just going to hold these over and kind of turn them and heat these up until everything's melted and cinched down. So that might be on camera. I can definitely move this camera up a bit. Please don't judge me because I like Power Rangers. I'm of the age where Power Rangers came out, and oh my gosh, I have a lot of Power Ranger stuff. Alright, well, let's plug this in. Yeah, I like to collect things, and you guys have seen the cars out there. I like to collect things. And for the longest time, I was collecting Power Ranger stuff because it was fairly cheap. And then over time, I got a decent little collection. So I'm going to kick this thing on. It rocks a bit, but it's got a stand on it. I probably could just bend it and flatten it out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to kick this thing on and heat this up. And I'll show you guys the last step. Okay, move you guys back over here and point you back down a bit towards the work area. One thing you have to be careful with when you use this type of connector is the rubber gets really hot, and well, I mean, it will flat out burn you, right? But to get the solder hot enough to melt through, the rubber is so hot that, or the heat shrink is so hot that you could easily just pull it apart, right? You don't want to do that because that would be ungood. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but the solder did. My dog is making so much noise. Anyway, yeah, the solder did melt through. I can see it in there. It's all melted into the wire, so that's good. That's what we want. Are we good on temperature? Yeah, they're getting good and cool here. Sat there and blew on them for a bit. They're good, solid connections. Okay. Now, you could put this in your car just like this, right? We have watertight seals here because this red rubber on these is supposed to be waterproof. These are completely sealed up. I can rub. There's no rubber. You know, when they get super melty, like I said, you could easily pull the things apart. You could get metal poking through. So you just gotta be a little careful with them. If you have, like you saw my heat gun, the end of it didn't have a cup, like an extension, like a cup on it. You can get a little cup that sits on like a little attachment for the end of the heat gun, and it's a little cup, right? And it makes the heat kind of swirl around in there, and that's actually really good for these types of things. Don't have that, and so just kind of moved it around and did what I did and made sure not to pull on them. So now we have this. And again, you could put this in your car just like this, but it doesn't look good. So let's make it look good. Okay. So now whip around me to the floor behind me. I bought some 1/4-inch loom, right? I got like 25 feet of it. And so I'm just going to set it up here about where I want. And I'm going to put my fingernail in the one that I want to cut. And then right over here I've got some scissors. And right to the one that I wanted to cut in. Right there. I just tossed that back down on the floor. It's always a bit of a pain getting these started, but once you get them started, they're good to go. Alright, just kind of shove her in through the little crack there. And there. So here's a problem I run into. This looks good. People would buy this, it's fine, right? It looks great. But what I am seeing here is my two wiring connectors and this 1/4-inch loom. They are spreading it out a little bit right here. So what I might do on the next ones that I need to make two more because I have 2 cars with 2 fog lights each. So I need 4 of these. Is I might stagger my connectors, one up here and then on one side and then the other one down here, and that way they fit inside the loom better. I mean, I could run a bit larger loom, but this does look good. And obviously a person could just wrap a piece of electrical tape around that. It's completely fine, right? This is 1000% fine. If I sold this, people would probably be happy with it. They'd look at it and go, hey, that looks professional. Hey, it's flexible enough. Like, awesome. It's great. So, yeah. And like I said, like I said, you can make these for your Mustangs, but you can look around online too, and you can find this type of one on one end and something else on the other end. You can find ones pre-made. I could not find any for this particular scenario, which this is an 880, H27 880, and I don't remember what this one is now off the top of my head. But yeah, it's the 0304 Cobra style, but I couldn't remember. H10 is what this is. This is H10, this is H27, this is the female side, and this is the male side. Yeah, there we go. It came to me as I was talking. And so like I said, sometimes you can find the connectors that you need. And if you can't, guys, this is easy, right? You don't have to have a heat gun. You could do this with a lighter. Of course, you don't want to be right up on there. You can easily burn the stuff. A flame is very hot. But you could do these guys with a lighter. And I know because I did on the first one just to do it, right? I did one with the harness longer, and then I cut out that center section and made it about this long, just to see how it worked. Now, I've already, my wife is just now walking in, so she might come in here. She doesn't know I'm recording. I've already put one of these on the Mustang, and I put in one of my fog light buttons. I got one in, I haven't got another one in yet. And so I'm debating on whether or not to show you guys how to put in that fog light button, because I don't really want this video to be just about Mustangs. This is more about, hey, I did my research, I looked it up with this tool. You don't have to have this tool, right? But with this tool and a lighter, you can do this. You can make yourself a professional, this is what's called a jumper harness, right? And this looks great. Sure, there's higher end stuff you can make. This will work. This will last for 20 years and is just fine. So I don't think I'm going to show you putting it in the car. Like I said, I don't want this to be just a Mustang specific thing, although this is something that is needed for a certain project on these Mustangs that I have. It's not needed, but I wanted to do it. This is something you can do in any car. You're upgrading to, a ZL1 bumper from a base V6 Camaro bumper, and it has a different fog light or a different connector. I don't know if they do or not, right? But if they do, this is what you can do, guys. Just do a little bit of research, figure it out, and make yourself a jumper harness. Pretty cool stuff. Alright, so that'll be the end of this video. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.